Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the designer bags that I already own in my collection that if I didn't own them already, I would actually repurchase them at today's prices. A lot of designer bags have seen so many crazy price increases in the last 2 to 3 years. So these are the bags that I purchased before all those crazy price increases that more or less I think are still worthwhile purchasing at the current prices. This was a video topic suggested by one of you guys and I thought it was a really fun topic to discuss. So thank you so much for giving me this idea. You know who you are. I did put out an Instagram stories a few days ago while I was contemplating for my YouTube channel and I had a little bit of an idea block. So I actually put it out there and asked you guys for video topic suggestions. So many of you reached out to me and gave me such great ideas. So I will get through the list of all the topics that you guys suggested. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you to you guys for making those suggestions and giving me so many ideas. Anyway, back to today's video topic. I've got 4 handbags that I own that I would actually repurchase at today's prices. The first bag on the list may come as a bit of a surprise to you guys because a lot of people don't actually think that this bag is really worth the crazy price point anymore. And that might have given away my first pick, and it is the Chanel Classic Flap in the small or the medium size, which are the most classic sizes in my opinion, but under one condition. If I didn't already have a classic flap in my collection, I would actually still purchase one at the crazy prices that they are now, but I would not go for a black one. That is the first condition, actually 2 conditions. And the second condition is that I would probably only buy one classic flap. I do not need multiples of this bag. So if you're into luxury bags, you probably already know what crazy price increases this bag has seen. I personally purchased this bag back in 2015 or 2016, and I remember the price of this bag was around 6,800 Australian dollars. It was definitely less than 7,000 Australian dollars. And honestly, I thought that was a lot of money at the time, and it really was because I was still quite young and early in my career. Anyway, and today, this bag retails for over 13,000 Australian dollars. I know, it's just insanity. And a lot of people have actually said Chanel Classic Flaps are not worth the money anymore. The quality doesn't match the price point anymore. It's such a basic style, you know, all of those negative comments about the classic flap. And I don't disagree with all of those points. But in saying that, I noticed that a lot of those comments are coming from people who already own this bag, who didn't pay today's prices. So, you know, it's kind of easy for someone like me who already has a classic flap in my collection to say, oh, it's not worth the money anymore. I only paid this and that. So hypothetically, if I didn't have a classic flap in my collection already today, you know what? I think it is still a very timeless bag that even though the price isn't really technically worth the bag anymore, I still think that I would personally, you know, save up to get a classic flap. But like I said, I would only do it the one time. If this bag was still at the $6,000 price mark, and you know, when it was, I actually thought about having a couple of different colors in the classic flap because I wanted fun options. But at the current price, I'll be totally happy to just own the one classic flap, which I only have one classic flap in my collection. And I am very happy with it. I really don't see myself purchasing another one anytime soon unless, you know, I suddenly have no financial obligations, which, you know, won't be for a really long time. If I didn't have a classic flap, I would totally still repurchase it. Yes, it may take a little longer to save up for one, but I still think that it is a worthwhile purchase in terms of how classic and timeless this design is. And I think it's just one of those bags, if you are a handbag lover and you do genuinely like this flap bag style with the beautiful chain, there is nothing quite like the Chanel Classic Flap out there. There are similar bags, but at the end of the day, I just feel like all of those bags take elements out of the classic flap bag, but they're not quite the classic flap. So I would totally repurchase this one. But like I said, not in a black because I don't know, with the classic flap bag, I would say, you know, go for a color that really makes your heart sing. I know this beige clair is not the most fun color, and it once was a classic color that was repeated every season, but I believe that that black is the only classic at the moment. They are not doing the beige clear as a classic color anymore, but I still like that the beige is slightly different than your normal black bag. And in my wardrobe and the types of colors that I wear, I have a lot more outfits that I can match with the beige clear as opposed to a black one. And I just feel like the black is probably the most commonly seen color. So in my humble opinion, I say go for a non-black classic flap, just so that, you know, it is something a little more special to your collection, but still go for a color that works with a lot of your outfits. You kind of just need to work out, you know, what your color theme is in your wardrobe, and you'll just be able to pick the most versatile color for your own style. The second bag style will not come as a surprise to any of you guys who watch my videos regularly, and it is the Chanel mini flap in any variation that you like. So there are currently 3 different variations to the Chanel mini flaps. You've got the square shape, you've got the rectangular shape without the top handle, and you've got the more seasonal rectangular shape with the top handle. And I love all 3 different types of the Chanel mini flap. So Chanel mini flaps are not technically considered classic flaps, but they do have most of the elements that a classic flap would at a much lower price point. So the square flap being my oldest bag out of the 2, and also the one that I get the most use out of, I'm just going to use this as an example. You guys know that I've owned this bag since 2015 or 2016 as well, so at least 5 or 6 years, or 6 or 7 years, oh my goodness. And you guys know that this is one of the most versatile bags in my collection that I take on all my holidays, that I use for all sorts of occasions and outfits, and is such an easygoing bag. Now, when I purchased this bag, it was around 3,500 Australian dollars, and currently this bag sits at around 6,200 Australian dollars. So it almost doubled in price in the last 6 or 7 years. Like I said, it's got so many of the classic elements, including the CC turn lock, which is how you open and close the flap. You've got this beautiful chain, interwoven metal and leather chain, which is quintessentially Chanel. And you've got the beautiful quilting, you've got the back pocket. You basically have all the elements that makes a Chanel classic flap bag. As you guys saw with the small and medium classic flap bags, which are the smallest sizes, which are the cheapest sizes in the classic range, this bag is still half the price of those, or even less. And dare I say, I do actually find the Chanel mini flaps a lot more functional than the classic flaps. All of Chanel's classic flaps at the moment are double flaps. So you open the first flap and the second flap, and that not only is more cumbersome, but also reduces the amount of stuff that you can fit inside the bag. The fact that the mini flap doesn't have the second flap is actually a massive pro in my opinion. And the interior is completely leather lined, just like all of the other classic flaps. And the capacity of the mini flaps is actually not that much smaller than the capacity of a small or a medium classic flap. I've actually got a very comprehensive Chanel classic flap size comparison video, which is like 30 something minutes, on my channel that I'll leave a link to in the description section below. So if you want to see what fits and everything, go watch that video if you haven't done so already. Anyway, seeing that the capacity is not that much smaller and the price point is so much better relatively speaking, if I didn't own a Chanel mini flap in my collection, I would definitely go out and purchase one of these at the current price. The proof is in the pudding, because you guys know that this mini flap with the top handle, I actually purchased this only last year at the almost current price. I believe I paid 6,300 Australian dollars for this one, which is just a little bit less than the current price, which is around 6,700. And I was completely happy to actually pay that amount of money, because I do really like the Chanel mini flaps for their functionality, how cute they are, and how versatile they are. Now, the next bag, I actually had no idea how much it went up in price in the last couple of years that I haven't really been looking. And it is the Loewe puzzle bag, which is one of Loewe's most classic and it bags of all times in my opinion. I absolutely adore this bag. I didn't realize how much it had gone up in price in the last 2 or 3 years. So I bought this bag back in 2019, just before the pandemic, and the price at the time was 2,850 Australian dollars. And at the time, this puzzle bag was so sought after that it was always sold out in this small size. So when I saw that it had come back in stock, I quickly grabbed it. So the current price of this bag in this exact size is actually over 4,000 Australian dollars. I remember it being around 4,200 or 4,300 Australian dollars, which is an increase of about 1,500 Australian dollars. So I'd been quite aware of the massive jumps in prices with Chanel and Louis Vuitton bags in the last couple of years, but I haven't been really following Loewe's price until I had a quick look this past couple of weeks, because I was doing a comparison between this one and a mini size one, because one of my friends just bought a mini Loewe puzzle bag. So that comparison video is coming soon. Anyway, I looked up the price and I could not believe the prices. Anyway, now that this bag is over 4,000 Australian dollars, will I actually repurchase it at the current price? And the answer is absolutely yes. And that is why this bag obviously made it to this list. Loewe's leather is just so luxurious and beautiful. I've heard that their leather is sourced from the same place that Hermes leathers are sourced. I don't know how true that is, but that is what I heard. And I wouldn't be surprised, because when you actually look at a Loewe bag up close in person, it is really nice quality. And the puzzle bag by its design is very unique. There is nothing quite like this in the luxury bag market currently. You know, you've got so many different types of flat bags, you've got so many different types of duffel bags, you've got so many different types of camera bags. A lot of designers do styles that are really similar to each other. Do you guys actually know anything that is quite similar to this? I don't know any, so I just love how unique the design is, combined with the fact that the leather is just so supple and beautiful. And I've had this for over 3 years now and it has worn beautifully. I have used this so many times and took it on so many holidays as well. And this tan color, you guys know, is my absolute favorite. So even at the current price of over 4,000 Australian dollars, I would absolutely repurchase this at the current price. Even if you look at the full leather bag prices out on the market with different designers at the moment, this puzzle bag is actually quite well priced. For example, I went into Gucci recently, you guys know, when I was traveling in Melbourne, and I tried on quite a few of their new styles, like the Blondie bag, the new colors in the Diana bag with the beautiful straps, and that tiny little mini Boston bag. I couldn't believe the prices, to be very honest with you guys. So I understand that these are very nicely made bags with nice leather, but the Blondie bag was starting at around 4,500 or 5,000 Australian dollars, and I don't find that bag any more luxurious than the Loewe puzzle bag. And also the Diana bags as well. Last time I checked, when they were first launched last year, they were starting from like $3,500 for the mini size, but now they've gone up at least $1,000 to $1,500. And when I was looking at the small sizes, they were like almost 6,000 Australian dollars. And let me tell you, the Loewe leather is just so much nicer than any of those leathers that I touched. So that's just one example as to why I still think that Loewe quality and design are worth paying for at the current prices. Next up is my beloved Alma BB that I've had for many, many years in my collection as well, specifically in the epi leather. I believe that the canvas versions of the Alma BB are a lot more popular, like your monogram, like your damier ebene, because they're more neutral, first of all, and they have the very classic Louis Vuitton look. So if you want that sort of Louis Vuitton look, I understand that you would totally go for one of those versions, but I just really love the epi leather in the Alma. And I've also noticed that the price of this Alma bag has gone up quite a lot in the last couple of years. So when I actually purchased this bag, it was around 1,900 Australian dollars. And at the moment, this epi leather version is closer to 3,000. So it's in the higher $2,000 mark. And again, that is a good 30% price increase, or even 50% price increase if you compare the amount of increase to the original price that I paid for it. I still think that there is really no other bag at that particular price point of, say, you know, between $2,500 to $3,000 in the designer bag world that is in full leather, that is really, really versatile. I mean, the Alma BB has the top handles, the crossbody strap, it's even got metal feet on the bottom, a little key clochette, which adds a little fun and charm to the bag, and it's got the beautiful microfiber lining. On the inside, it's not just the cheap fabric lining. So not only is it really versatile, it is also such a classic and timeless style that you can have for years and years and years, and it just won't date. Epi leather is also very durable. It'll definitely withstand the test of time. So I definitely still think that this is such an underrated bag from Louis Vuitton. I still find that it is such a hidden gem because, you know, often people go for bags like the Speedy, the Neverfull, or even the Noe bags as their first bags, or rate them as the most classic Louis Vuitton bags. But I find the Alma just so much more elegant, versatile. Even though it's seen quite a bit of price increase in the last 2 to 3 years, I would totally repurchase this bag at today's price. I also want to know what you would repurchase from your own collections at today's hideous prices, and what you think is still worthwhile purchasing at today's prices. Share them in the comments below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. As always, thank you so much for watching and spending some of your precious time with me today, and I can't wait to see you again soon in my next video. Bye guys.